We patched it in 2020, Microsoft said. 5 years later, attackers are still walking straight through the front door of SharePoint servers, because that 2020 patch was never truly finished. August 12, 2025. If you manage a SharePoint environment, grab coffee before you read on. The ToolShell wave that's been slamming government ministries, banks, factories, and even forestry co-ops isn't brand new malware. It's the ghost of CVE 2020-1147, a flaw that was supposedly fixed half a decade ago. Kaspersky's global research analysis team, GREAT, just confirmed what many admins feared. The original patch left the window open just enough for attackers to pry it wider. But here's where it gets controversial. Some security researchers argue that Microsoft's 2020 fix was never incomplete in the classic sense. Instead, they claim Microsoft deliberately narrowed the scope of the patch to avoid breaking backward compatibility, effectively trading long-term security for short-term convenience. Agree or disagree? Drop your take in the comments. How the 2020 patch missed the mark. When CVE 2020-1147 first surfaced, Microsoft shipped a mitigation that blocked the exact exploit chain demonstrated by researchers. Unfortunately, the patch focused on the specific payload pattern and failed to address the underlying deserialization weakness. Think of it like changing the lock on your front door, but leaving the back door hinges loose. Burglars simply walked around. Fast forward to 2025. GREAT reverse-engineered the ToolShell exploit and found it reuses 87% of the 2020 proof-of-concept code. The only major difference? A single / added to the URI, something the 2020 patch never anticipated. That tiny character was enough to bypass every safeguard Microsoft had put in place. The domino effect. New CVEs, same root cause. Once attackers started abusing the bypass, 2 fresh CVEs appeared on the radar. CVE 2025-4904 and CVE 2025-4906. Microsoft quietly patched them on July 8, 2025, but red teamers quickly discovered that the same slash trick still worked. Only after public pressure and confirmed in the wild exploitation did Microsoft release the comprehensive July 29th update that finally closed the loopholes under CVE 2025-53770 and CVE 2025-53771. And this is the part most people miss. Even though the patches are now available, the attack surface remains enormous. SharePoint farms are notoriously slow to update. Many organizations delay reboots or skip entirely. Meanwhile, exploit code has already been folded into at least 3 underground toolkits, according to GREAT telemetry. Real-world impact. Who's getting hit? Kaspersky's. The top targeted verticals include government agencies, tax portals, municipal intranets, financial services, loan origination portals, manufacturing, MES dashboards hosted on SharePoint, forestry agriculture, grant application portals. In one case, a European agricultural board lost 6 months of subsidy records because attackers chained ToolShell with a post-exploitation script that wiped SQL backups. The board had applied the July 8th patch, but not the July 29th revision. Why attackers won't stop anytime soon. Boris Larin, principal security researcher at GRAT, puts it bluntly. Proxy logon, print nightmare, eternal blue. Every one of those bugs still pops up in our incident response queue years later. ToolShell will join that hall of fame because it's easy to weaponize and hard to eradicate. Expect to see the exploit appear in legitimate penetration testing frameworks within months. Once that happens, red teamers and criminals alike will have point-and-click access to any unpatched SharePoint server on the internet. What you should do right now. 1. Inventory every SharePoint server in your environment, on-prem, hybrid, and cloud-hosted. 2. Verify that the July 29, 2025 cumulative update, KB 5034443 or later, is installed. Don't rely on WSUS auto-approval. Check build numbers manually. 3. Review deserialization settings in web config. Disable binary formatter if your applications allow it. 4. Enable Kaspersky's behavioral detection or equivalent EDR rules that flag ToolShell's unique PowerShell spawning pattern. 5. Schedule a tabletop exercise. Assume at least one server is compromised and rehearse your incident response playbook. Controversial closing thought. Some voices in the security community argue that Microsoft should have issued an out-of-band patch the moment the bypass became public, instead of waiting for the others. Counter that rushing fixes can destabilize enterprise environments. Where do you stand? Should vendors prioritize speed over stability when a bypass is already weaponized? Let the debate begin below. For deeper technical analysis, visit sophos.com, https://sophos. About Kaspersky, founded in 1997. Kaspersky is a global cybersecurity company whose threat intelligence engine protects more than 400 million individual users and 250,000 enterprises. Its global research analysis team, GREAT, specializes in uncovering advanced persistent threats and zero-day vulnerabilities. Related reading: SharePoint Deserialization Cheat Sheet. How to build a rollback plan when patches break custom web parts. Proxy logon to proxy shell. A timeline of Exchange and SharePoint flaws.